Yours, what you telling me? What you telling me?
Fuck that house now. I'm back. To the top, I'ma make it. Niggas just can't take it. To the top, I'ma make 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 it.
Yo, 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 welcome to Nets Kingdom. I'm here with our special guest, Brandon Scoopy Robinson. I'm here with my co-hosts, Chubbs and Rage. Welcome.
What's up?
Scoop, welcome, bro. How you been?
Man, what's this second time around? Second time is the charm, brother. I appreciate you having me on and giving me the opportunity to be myself.
As always, man. Yeah, we've been connecting a little bit here and there in the green room, Spotify, talking, and it's always been a pleasure. And you reached out, and you definitely kept to your promise about coming back on.
Yes, sir.
A lot of spicy things going on with the Nets. A lot of news. You've had a lot of good conversations and reports and some information. Chubbs, Rage, welcome. You want to give some introductions or talk, or just in general, real quick before we get into topics?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yo.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hungover after going to the game last night. There's a bunch of bittersweet memories, but we here though.
That's right. You went to the game.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I'm sorry, bro. That was painful. Last night's game was painful. I'm sorry. I feel bad for you, bro.
Yeah.
The one time you get to see Kyrie at home, and that's how it goes. I'm sorry.
What are the odds?
Well, I will say this before we get into the topic, and it's rough because like people, I feel bad for home fan, like people that buy tickets to go see the Nets this season at home, and ticket season holders. Oh, it's been a brutal year for them. Like, and hopefully, obviously, we're going to finish out in a better way. Hopefully some playoff run. Now they get to see Kyrie at home, so they've deserved and earned it.
It was a packed house, and they love to see him. Like that, like last 8 minutes, like they cheered the most that night because he was just going crazy. So that was probably the best.
Nets crowd in attendance or something. That was like the highest number.
Oh
Scoop,
yeah,
were you there, Scoop? Or were you out? Oh, you were at another game last night, right?
Yeah, I was in DC at Warriors Wizards last night, but I was keeping tabs on what was going on. And then I ended up after the game, me and one of my colleagues had dinner at a casino, and we were on Instagram looking at Will Smith and Chris Rock and that whole debacle there. Jay from BK, what's going on, my brother? I see him in the comments. Always love. I just got off the phone with him not too long ago.
Nice.
But no. But I think that oftentimes, well, I'll say this. I think that Charlotte needed that win more, I think, than Brooklyn did. I think there was a lot of fanfare with Kyrie coming home. And I think that I kind of think sometimes because the Nets are the hometown favorite and there's a lot of people who actually are cheering for Kyrie, I think sometimes we can lose sight of the fact that like Charlotte came out swinging. If I'm not mistaken, Brooklyn was in the 8th spot or is in the 8th spot and Charlotte's in the 9th. I think that and I also think there's such a thing as being hungover, not in the same vein as my man Chubbs, but being hungover from Saturday's game against the Miami Heat, where they were. I think there was a bit of a fatigue. That's a quick run, but to set up for the next day, I think there may have been some fatigue there.
Yeah, that was an amazing game in Miami, and then a long night of getting out of Miami. I guess there was reports of like some sort of concert convention going on. They have their press. It's like, yeah, like I don't want to make excuses and say that was it, but it was obvious towards the end when Kyrie, like you could tell his legs were not there on his shot. And then he started attacking towards the end, which gave us a nice push. I wish he would have realized that a little bit earlier, but he knows more about basketball than I do. But like you could just tell that like the legs for the shot were not there, and then he started attacking and we got close. But like you said, I don't know. I'll only say that to me that I understand where you're saying the win is more important to them, but where we're at, like any regular season win is. Whew. It's getting brutal.
When you get to the end of the season or the season is over, you tend to look at games that the Nets could have or should have won, and you think of like I think they're going to look at that Dallas game when Dinwiddie hit that shot. I think you're going to look at that Charlotte game. And I think now with like this is a big week in the NBA. Although I know a lot about the Nets and know players on that team, I do have a job and I'm national. But with that being said, I look at a few other matchups this week that are going to dictate seedings. Like so on the Western Conference, like you look at the Warriors, they lost to Washington last night. Tonight they play Memphis. They had to get up out of DC last night and head over and prepare for that game. That's a further distance from Florida to Newark Airport and then Brooklyn the next day for the Nets. And then you look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Tomorrow they play the Philadelphia 76ers, and then Thursday they play Brooklyn. If I'm not mistaken, Milwaukee played Memphis over the weekend. So, without Ja Morant. So when I look at just like standings and scheduling, that plays a big part in a level of fatigue. I last week was around the Lakers when they were in DC, and they played the Wizards and lost. That was when LeBron broke Carmelone's or surpassed Carmelone's scoring record. And I was just watching body language before the game, and I was looking at like guys like on the court yawning. You played Toronto the night before or 2 days prior, and when Russell Westbrook hit that big shot. When I look at fatigue and I look at the Nets and I look at their scouting report, and when I look at who's available and who's not, in some aspects, Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving at the beginning of the season getting rest, or then Ben Simmons being held out, depending on where they end up, that level of rest or even seeding might work to their favor. Because they're playing their version of load management, if you will, the legal way of it. That's how I look at it.
And to maybe look for a positive. Sorry, Chubbs, I'll let you maybe look for a positive. Is at least because I think we're getting in the playoffs, right? It's not the ideal situation of how the Nets are getting into the playoffs, right? But I do believe they're getting in there, and I do think. Even though Katie was hurt, I do think that time off is going to help going into the playoffs. I think Kyrie not having to play a full season day is going to come into play. And then if you do add Ben, it's going to – I think that freshness is going to help them in the long run because I know teams are beat up. A lot of people are starting to get injured. Some people are – the Bucks are getting their team back together, but teams are tired. And I just think going forward that, if the Nets can put it together and get everything right when they're into the playoffs, that energy is going to help in the long run. But Chubbs, do you have something before we get to the topics?
No. Let's get into these topics, man. All
right, let's just do real quick a Kyrie quick recap. I know the last time I saw you interviewed, a person that interviewed you had brought up, just seemed to be a little bummed out about Kyrie. And it seems like a lot of people are bummed out that Kyrie is like back. And it's like, they're trying to turn this into this drama thing, like saying he won. It's like, I don't know. I'm just at a point where it's like through the whole thing, I could never understand why people could not just accept the fact that people get to make choices in their lives, whether you and I agree with them, whether it does it. Oh, that's all right. Whether it affects somebody else or not, like at the end of the day, the man made his decision, and his teammates and his coach and the ownership, they stood by him. And now the mandate's gone and he's back. And it's like you still have people really trying to push a narrative with Kyrie. And it's just kind of sad. I said this last, I was talking with some people in one of the Twitter spaces and Jay, and it's just like, here you saw a man that chose to follow his belief, right, and he rested on faith and hope that things would work out. And he basically showed you what it means to like have faith and hope in something. And he showed it to you right in front of everybody. A kind of a recap. I guess my question is like, now that this all said and done, like, how do you overall, how do you feel about this situation? Like, I know you've been a supporter of Kyrie. Like, do you kind of think that it's time for people just to kind of like, let's let go, move on, let the man live his life. Let's play basketball. Like
the short answer to that is everybody's not going to like everybody. And the short end of that answer, part two, is winning cures all. And I think that when you look at history, it's proven that. Many people talked about LeBron James's being ringless, or not winning in Cleveland and then going to Miami and then finding his way back to Cleveland and then find himself in LA. In each of those places, he has won. He won in Cleveland the second go around. He won 2 in Miami. He won 1 in the bubble in LA. And people are going to say, well, it was the bubble, so it didn't count. But he's won. And I think that with Kyrie, I'm not comparing him to LeBron, but I think he's in a good situation playing alongside KD, arguably the world's best player. And he is playing in Brooklyn, playing for a team he watched in New Jersey. And I think that the crazy thing about it, and this is just in my experience, this is just knowing Kyrie, but also just an observer. I know that Kyrie loves basketball, but I think the way that many observers watch basketball and the way basketball players observe basketball as a job are two different things. And I think that the NBA has done a very good job of creating a product that people can talk all day about with their friends via text, have shows totally designed to argue who's the best player, who sucks, whose legacy is this.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with people within the league office years ago. I said the NBA is the modern day version of the WWE, and it leads over into politics, where we're on political shows talking about it. And so I say all of that to say, I know that Kyrie is in a very good space. I know just where he is. I know that family is very important to him. And while winning a championship is something that is an ultimate dream of his, while you and the other 3 people, the 4 people total in this room, are discussing Kyrie, he's still going to get paid regardless. But he never promised Brooklyn, I don't think, a championship in the same way that maybe LeBron promised Miami or Cleveland.
Not 1, not 2, no.
That shit.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I think it would be great for the city, particularly with all that has gone on with mandates, all that has gone on with the Nets, either on Long Island to New Jersey to Brooklyn. Like, I feel like the bridge, you bridge a gap between eras of Long Island, New Jersey, Brooklyn, and it gives New Yorkers, New Jerseyites, Long Island natives something to really. I remember Brooklyn's theme song was Brooklyn, something to believe in. It really, that whole Brooklyn, it gives them something to be happy for, because it's been a long journey to get to this point.
Yeah. I mean, and listen, I think it's a foregone. I think that's the right way. It's like saying it's foregone conclusion that Kyrie is going to re-sign in the offseason and commit. I mean, the one thing that I've liked with people can have their feelings about Kyrie and different things like that, but as a Nets fan, it's nice to hear players like KD, Kyrie, and I'm sure we'll hear it from Ben. And other players that want to be here and want to commit to an organization that for the last, just deserves to win, in my opinion. The history that's been there. So I'm excited for that. Let's see. I'm going to kick this to the next topic we're going to kind of get into is I'm going to kick it to Rage for some general Ben conversations. I know that you've had some information, Scoop, but Rage, I know you had some idea, like things you were talking about, but go for it. Take it away.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, how likely is a Ben Simmons return to the Nets this regular season? Because we know we'll probably see him in the play-in and in the playoffs, but I think we're all wondering just the regular season because we've heard a bunch of conflicting reports whether he'll return in the regular season, he'll be for the play-in, he'll be there for the playoffs because we all just don't know.
I've heard, and of course, the regular season ends like April 8th or April 9th. I've heard that it could come at towards the end of the regular season, but that regular season also dovetails to that week of the play-in, that week off. So the answer to that question is I don't have a clear and concise timetable, but I do know that he has worked out with the team in practice. I know that the goal was to get him going, playing in a regular season the week after that Philadelphia game. And if you paid attention to just my reporting during leading up to that game, or that that like right before the game started at Wells Fargo Center, that the hope by the Nets was that he would come back. And then there were some things there with his back and the epidural shot and all that goes with it. And so the good thing is, playing against Portland and Orlando, they held their own. But ultimately, from everybody that I have spoken with that is in the know within the organization, there is a belief that he will come back towards maybe the last two games or in time for the play-in. And that's not there's a belief that he can, but I'll add this to my statement. I do think that oftentimes my media counterparts and their reporting based upon the topic of Ben Simmons conflicts in an age of social media, particularly Twitter, with what the organization wants you to know. And I'll just say that the organization is always operating within the best interest of their employee. And so things do change. And I think even as a person who does get information, you sometimes have to protect yourself or weaponize yourself with enough room in your verbiage so that people aren't like, well, you said, yeah, but people do change. Things do change. There's no way of knowing, that an epidural shot was a thing because, when that information was given to me, a few days passed by. So, you just got to be careful with how you word things. And always there's three sides to every story, your story, their story.
Right.
No, I mean, and that's the thing is you've heard, listening to your report, listening to some other people, but then the questions that people even ask Steve Nash, I kind of had in my head, maybe the last couple of games would be great for Ben if we, if the doctors, because I think it pretty much all comes down to as soon as the doctors clear him, that man is in there practicing, playing. I don't think, although I'm not as concerned about him fitting in with this team, I personally think he's going to fit seamlessly. Like when you look at the role that Bruce Brown's playing, or even, we could debate why James Johnson is getting more play than some people, but I think he fits seamlessly into that position. And I'm not so concerned about him fitting. It's just more of the being healthy, right? If they give him the okay and he's in there, whether it's 2 games, whether it's playing. I mean, you've heard Steve Nash literally come out and say, yeah, I'm not opposed to a playoff game being his first game involved with this team. And on some respects, I'm actually happy to hear that because it's I think they realize how important he is. I think they realize how important to run. Yes, you have KD and Kyrie, but your percentage rate of still winning it all in the grand scheme of things is a lot less than if you had Ben Simmons to that mix. So I'm excited to hear that. I guess it's where everybody's stuck at is the wait and see and just waiting to see how much, it sounds like it's trending in the right direction. You've heard it. We've all heard it that he's getting relief from the needle. And it just, I don't know if I'm concerned that every time I see him out there, he's just kind of standing there doing that. I don't know. I think the latest report was that he still hasn't began practice of any kind like that. So I don't know. We have almost a little less than a month before the playoffs. That's a lot of time that can pass. I'm going to move on to the next, trying to keep within time here so we can really get like Chad involved at the end and have a little fun with something. I'm going to kind of kick this next one off to Chubbs, talk about Drummond.
All right, so with the recent report with Andre Drummond, his time here, and he had a whole little Twitter rant, I believe yesterday or the day before, saying like everything was taken out of context. The full statement was like, granted, my time here is short term, but I can't control whatever happens in the future. Like it's very easy, like could come back here, but the actual constructed quote kind of made it seem like he was leaving in the offseason. When Drummond kind of just shut that down, was like, yeah, no, that's not the case. So this kind of leads into the main question. With your new platform on Spotify with Green Room and with Twitter Spaces and more streams coming to platforms like StreamYard, do you feel like there's going to be a new wave of reporting that kind of cancels out all the quotes being like constructed to make it look like this way? Do you feel like it just gives a new level of transparency? Do you feel like it's gonna transition into fans also joining reporters to ask questions to these players to get way more transparency with questions like these, or just questions in general, so you don't get that basic media trained answers? You get genuine answers from these players and from these staff.
Couple things. I want to address Drummond first because he's somebody that I like a lot, and I like him, and I got to know him this season when he was still in Philly. I was making a lot of runs back and forth to Philly when he was a member of the 76ers, and I agree with my holy king. Drummond is the X factor. There's a reason why Brooklyn brought him in, because while I like Nicholas Batum a lot, I feel like the Nets were kind of making him Jared Allen light, and Jared Allen is Jared Allen. And so I think Drummond coming in is definitely the remix to what they were missing as a dominant or prominent big man who could do what needed to be done. I think Drummond is more of a bully in a good way. And so I like his fit in Brooklyn, but specifically to his quote, I did not see the whole quote, but basically from what you shared with me, he's a guy that speaks from the heart a lot. I'll give you a perfect example. I hadn't seen him since the trade until the game in Philadelphia. And, during the national, I was in and out of the Sixers tunnel during the national anthem being played, and I had walked past the Nets bench. And he saw me. I said, "Drum, what's up?" He had walked to the side of the bench, like catty corner to the bench. I said, "What's up, B?" He goes, "Yo, what's up?" He goes, "You good?" I said to him, "You all right?" He looked at me. He said, "Yeah, but are you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." That's a lighthearted just conversation that had nothing to do with being a reporter, him being a basketball player. It was him being a human. And as you're telling me that quote about Drummond, I think about that moment. We're in the dark. They're singing the national anthem. They're about to do the visitor starting lineup. And I know that he is somebody that just speaks off the cuff. And I just think in today's society, we often hang on every word, but everybody's speak is different. Sometimes, for example, Kyrie doesn't like to talk about doesn't like to answer certain things because of how it can be disseminated in blogs. And so with that point, as it relates to Drummond and him, and I know he speaks from the heart, I think it was kind of the same thing. But in the words of the great prophet and philosopher Fat Joe, yesterday's price is not today's.
You did not just invoke Fat Joe. I love it. Hey, wait, before you finish, Scoop, here's his quote, by the way.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I love music, I love basketball, but I am a child of hip hop. Okay.
Yes.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Damn it.
But thank God you grew up also in an era of hip hop that was a little more pure than now, though.
Yes.
Yes, that early 90s, late 80s, early 90s hip hop will always be in my rotation. But here to continue your like what you're saying, and that's great. Like we have a little running joke, and Rage get in here. Rage is from Detroit, right? And when Drummond was on there, Rage was just he couldn't handle Drummond anymore, right? Like Drummond at certain times has been mixed on his play, right? And Rage every stream would be like, Drummond's not a top 20 center. Like, and we did that for like a full season.
Let me explain. You gotta
Yeah,
let me explain.
I will. I'm getting to that. But it's funny
Yeah,
that
that was
we
a
come
whole
full
thing for like a
circle,
whole year, I believe.
and,
like the whole
and now
year.
Drummond is like
Ever
on the
since he signed with
Nets,
the Lakers.
and he's been. I love the dude. Like, and then to find out that he's from Jersey made it even more for me. Like, but yeah, Rage, I'll let you say that. But here's also the quote scoop that he put up there. He said, "For you weirdos posting articles saying I won't resign, let's be clear. I didn't say that. All I said was if we were being honest, I'm here for the rest of the season. I don't know what the summer will bring. I can only control what's happening right now. Thank you on that note, Nets World." And to Chubb's point and to you about him just being a straightforward, like good dude, I like to hear that. Rage, if you'd like to defend yourself, you can do that now, and we'll kick it back to Scoop.
All right, so all I'll say is like with the Pistons, like he was there for a long time. He was my favorite player. Like he was just Detroit. He was Detroit for a while, and then to see him go to like the also I like the Nets, of course, and to see him go to the Lakers was just like it hurt, man. It was like damn, and then but like. Now he's on the team. Now you support him. I mean, that's just how it is. I don't know. I'm gonna support him no matter what.
I like how you completely ignore his Cleveland stint.
Oh, I didn't care about his Cleveland.
I'm gonna share
It
something
mattered
with you.
because it was the Cleveland. It was Cleveland.
What's that?
I'm gonna share something with you that you may not know.
Okay. Well,
Let's have it.
I'm all ears.
Drummond was supposed to become a Net when he ultimately signed with the Lakers.
Ooh.
He and Kevin Durant are friends.
Right.
I know that while he got that buyout from the Cavs, he was having conversation with Durant. And there was a belief that he would ultimately make that run. But ultimately, the Lakers was his choice. And even looking at that Lakers organization post Dwight Howard leaving and them getting Montrezl Harrell and more, ultimately it was an epic fail for him. But coming to Philadelphia was a good move because there were points where Embiid was out and it gave them kind of a 1-2 punch in the interior, but also I think ultimately Drummond came to the team that he ultimately was supposed to be, and I think that Kevin was pushing hard for him to come to Brooklyn that season. He ultimately signed with the Lakers, and heard that from a couple of people that are tied and in the know, but. Even when you look at James Harden is in Philadelphia where he ultimately wanted to be. And Ben Simmons, for as much as people talk about him quitting on Philadelphia, ultimately was angry with the Sixers because they ultimately traded him or had talks with Houston. And it was a situation where it was like Houston wanted Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris. And I think 3 picks. And I'm told that Houston said yes. And then in the 25th hour, told Daryl Morey, psych. And then ultimately James Harden ended up going to Brooklyn. And I think that as it relates to Simmons' issue with Philly, the fans may be a portion of it, but the other part is just his ability to not get along with those in the front office and feeling betrayed. And James Harden ultimately got to be on the team that he wanted to play with, 1, because of the Daryl Morey connection, 2, because of Tad Brown, who was in Houston and ended up finding his way as the CEO, replacing Scott O'Neal in Philadelphia, and his connection to Michael Rubin, and more. And in the sense of Ben Simmons, I believe that in Brooklyn, he is James Harden light, who takes less shots and is a better defender and can be a playmaker. And I expect him to play like LeBron in year 2 in Miami, where he's not relying on just being a playmaker, but could create any shot he wants. He just has to be healthy. But defensively is where Brooklyn needs him. And I think adding Drummond and adding Ben Simmons to the pot is great, but also adding Seth Curry, as if healthy, benefits them in ways where it covers holes left by Joe Harris, either because A, if he doesn't play, or B, concerns that people had about him in the playoffs like they did last season. So I think that Brooklyn has gotten better exponentially, but I also do think that as it relates to Drummond, I said it once, and in the words of Cisco, I think I'll say it again. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yeah, Brooklyn, I'd find a way to try to pay that man.
Yeah, I will say this, and then I'm gonna kick it to the chat to just like, if you have questions for Scoop, just put at Scoop, or no, I'm sorry, at Saint. That way I can see them. Just put at Saint, and I will. Screw it. Put at Scoop. That way, either way I can see it. Put at Scoop, and I'll put them up there, and we can rapid fire some questions. We do have a ton. Chubb is a college man. He's been hitting them books.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
got one. I have like one more question, and it would be Kessler Edwards' two-way contract situation, and how likely do you see him coming up with the Nets for the playoffs?
I don't know, and I'll say this as it relates to just watching him play. I've really liked watching he and the core of that young core of guys like Cam Thomas and even David Duke Jr. Step up early in the season in times where we were looking at their lineup like, who the hell are these guys? Like when they went on that 11-game losing streak, there were times where I think where they started the Nets started those guys, and people were kind of looking at them like they were the 04 Lakers after Shaq got traded and Kobe was playing like with Brian Cook and Ronnie Turioff. Like you looked at Kessler Edwards, kind of like, who is he? And I think he's firming out to be somebody who is a solid role player and beneficial. Like I remember watching the Knicks and Nets game a couple Sundays ago and seeing Kessler, but also seeing the guy with the afro on the Knicks, number 45. And I remember tweeting, "Yo, I like his footwork. He just looks like a whole soul."
Quentin Grimes, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a random like number 57 on 2K when they couldn't contractually use players. Right. Yeah, but like when I look at Kessler Edwards specifically, like I like his upside. I'd like to see them sign him. I know he's been back and forth between the Long Island Nets and the G League and playing for the Nets, just like you've seen you've seen Nicholas Claxton at points during the season trying to ramp up and get right. But as far as his future in the playoff roster, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, I'll say this, and then we're going to start answering the questions. Like, shout out to Jay, because Jay brought up a good point at one point where it was you don't sign him now, because if you do, you lose a year control at a cheaper price. So I can understand from a front office standpoint, trying to manage, like keeping Kessler as long as you can without having to pay him astronomical prices, because he will get paid when he's due. But then the other point was, hopefully the league allows two-way players this year. I think you can make the case for allowing two-way players to play in the playoffs. Hopefully they do that. That would be huge. Because I know we saw Kessler was on a nice run when everybody was injured and COVID, and we saw what he can do, and he was hot. And then I think he hit a little bit of a rookie wall, and he kind of got pushed down, got sent down to the G League, and now it looks like he's, climbing his way back in. But the one thing that really hasn't gone away is that man's defensive presence and his hustle and his rebounds. And I hate to say it, but it's like I would rather go to him as a rookie over sometimes seeing some of the veterans come off the bench. And I'm a little afraid to not have that in the playoffs. But we're going to jump right into some questions, a little rapid fire. Scoop, you just let me know when it's time. But first question, it's the content. Shout out to you, Scoop. Are they saving Blake for the playoffs?
Yeah, it seems that way. I think when you look at the interior, particularly last season in the playoffs, he was at times, I feel, not able to hang with Milwaukee. But I feel like the fact that they not only brought back LaMarcus Aldridge, but they also got Drummond, I really believe that they're using all of those guys as one. Like it's like you're using all three guys to be one center. If you will, it's almost like, and it's no comparison, but you needed Dikembe Mutombo, Todd McCullough, and Jason Collins to contain Shaq.
Yeah, that's
or Tim Duncan and David Robinson a couple decades ago. And I feel like when you look at what Blake Griffin did, different era, more hybrid centers, if you will. But I think that Blake Griffin is somebody who has playoff experience that you'll be able to utilize. I also think that the Nets have just been so, which kind of ties into the next question. I think that the Nets have been so playing the small ball, if you will, and Bruce Brown has kind of been that 3/4 man that has outrun the other guys in the gym. So imagine a world where, like, you might have in the playoffs, if you play Milwaukee, you stick KD defensively on a Giannis, shifting at 4, but you got Bruce Brown being guarded by Giannis, who he can get to the basket on the other side of the basketball. I think that the Nets have so many pieces that they can tinker with, that can play so many different versatile positions. I think it's a good problem to have. But so that kind of goes into the whole thing with Bruce. I think honestly, it would be cool to see Ben come off the bench, because that shows the strength of the Nets and their variations of different starting fives. I mean, you saw an iteration last night. I know the Nets were 3-2 with the lineup that they had last night, with Kai at the 1, Seth at the 2, KD, Drummond, and was it Bruce at the starting five? Like they ran that same lineup on Saturday night against Miami. So, you know, I do think that the Nets have a good problem to have. It would be cool to see Ben come off the bench and continue to have Bruce Brown play at that position, because I think he's been so good. Sometimes when you tinker with lineups, like you saw that with Ben Simmons 2 seasons, I guess, in the bubble, where like Brett Brown sagged Ben to like the 3 or the 4. Like Tobias was at the 3, Ben was at the 4, and then you had Shake Milton starting at the 1, and it messed up the flow of what they have been doing all season.
Right.
I was gonna try to string these along and see if you could flow like the rap that you were talking about. I should have just done that, but I dropped the ball on that one. I was gonna try it. I'm just gonna string them from here. We'll see if you can like flow and keep it moving. I'm gonna try and keep.
This is like VH1, where they show the video and they give all the information about all the different things. I can't remember which VH1 show it is, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I think in answer to your question about Patty, hell yeah, he's happy. I think there's something that people don't speak enough about, and I shared this with a colleague of mine, and I think they're going to begin to discuss it. Do you guys realize that on the Nets roster currently, you have 3 Australian-born players on that team that are black?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we've come a long way since Luke Longley was repping Australia hard body.
Yeah.
And
you might need to say that again, because I don't think people realize sometimes when certain scenarios, like things like this happen, and how important they are on the stage there. I think you might need to say that again.
Okay. Do you guys realize that on the Nets roster, you have 3 Australian-born players on that team, and they're black? They're not Luke Longley Caucasian.
No.
And I think that's significant, and it should be talked more about. Just like I don't think people realize Giannis Antetokounmpo is Nigerian, and he's Nigerian and he's Greek. That's something we have not really dissected. So I just want to put that out there. But in answer to your question about Patty Mills, like, he loves playing on this team, and his chemistry, specifically with KD goes back to the Olympics in the summertime.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when they really were in their training camp, if you will. So, in answer to your question, Patty Mills is kind of the buffer that's keeping Ben Simmons so comfortable in Brooklyn because he told me he's known Ben since he was a kid.
Yep.
And it's watching him grow.
Okay.
And not just the portion with the not just the portion with him knowing Ben is important, but Ben and Kyrie also have the same high school coach. Well, for
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy connections as this has gone on. Like you said, starting with like the best point, and just how amazing that is to have that set up. But at the same time, the history that's going back between these players and knowing each other, it's like people have been pushing that narrative since the beginning of the season. Like, how are they all going to get along? Even the last season, and it's like the energy. What's so frustrating to watch the last two seasons that the Nets have had, but at the same time, for these dudes to have the energy and the camaraderie that they've had is just incredible and speaks volumes. So that when things really start going for this team, it's gonna be unbelievable. I mean, I think the other to point of Patty Mills, I just think we've seen we know Patty's happy, but he's just been struggling of lately. And I don't know if it's like everybody's been trying to figure it out. I'll just say this, and we can move on to Jay's question is. The man's kind of a lot like Joe Harris last year, where he's played the most minutes. He was asked to then start doing something that he wasn't brought here to do, change the game. Not that he's not willing to step up, but I just feel like, you took somebody that was supposed to play one play, like as a role player, now thrust in as a starter in a lot of times during the season. And it just, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's a little bit too much. I think we're not playing what's to Patty's strengths sometimes. Patty's having to create a lot, which I think he's a better spot up, like giving him the ball, coming off a pick, but having for him to have to create has been a little much for him, I think. So I think that's what some people are also like, what's going on? Like, is everything okay with Patty? I just think he's having an off moment in the season, and I think he's going to get it together when we're full strength, and you don't have to fully rely on him like being a starter.
Sure.
But the next one from Jay from BK. What wings do you see the Nets targeting in the offseason?
I don't know. I think it's still very early, and I think what they target will depend on how they finish in the regular season and if they make it to the finals. And I think that the specific type of player that they need, in my opinion, is a defensive stopper like a PJ Tucker. So I think those type of players, I think that's what they need, and I think that's what they're hoping that they're going to get with a healthy Ben Simmons. But I'll tell you something: a back injury is worse than a knee injury. Because, like, if you can't, and somebody in the comments said a Jay Crowder, someone like a Jay Crowder or a PJ Tucker, but what I'll say is specifically to Ben Simmons is, again, a knee injury is worse than a back. I'd rather have a right or left injury in my knee than or a slight ding than your back, because you know what I'm saying. Like, if you've been down on the defensive stance, are you gonna get up?
Right.
If you drive to the basket and you fall on your back, are you gonna be able to get up? Like, I think in the offseason, I do think a defensive stopper as a wing is something that they need.
All right, I'm going to parlay. Sorry.
Somebody said Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre was on their radar and actually formally offered him a deal. So did the Cavs. So did the Lakers. And ultimately, he went to Charlotte because he felt that Charlotte would be a better fit for their youth movement. And he really was welcoming, number one, playing alongside LaMelo Ball, but also he has a relationship with assistant coach Jay Hernandez.
I also think it's fair. He wanted to get paid a little bit too.
Yeah,
I think that's to be fair. Throw that. I mean, I get it. He looks. I wouldn't have had an issue with him. I'm still like in the rare camp that people like when we traded Dinwiddie, I would have loved to get Kuzma back. Right? Like people have been giving me a hard time about that. Like
I talked to Kuz last night. Pre-game, we have a little thing going on with fashion.
Perfect segue.
You're
I
here.
like you. I like
You're
it. Yeah, I
Um,
like it.
I will tell you that he is living his best life in Washington, D.C., as well as his former Laker teammate, who's his current Wizards teammate, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They're enjoying the space that they're in. So I think the Kuzma thing, people on the Washington side and people on the Nets side were trying to get the most that they could get. I wasn't as involved on the Lakers side when that deal was happening, but I can tell you that Kuzma did want to be a Net, but he's got his own team, and the Wizards are very happy with him, and he's happy to be in Washington.
Hey, we're looking to wrap up here. I did ask Scoop to do this. I thought it was I'm a nerd. I rock the glasses, but Scoop's got one of the best fashion in the game, and his glasses. I gotta see some of the magic before we get out of here. I know you got to get going, but what'd you bring for us today? Show and tell glasses.
I want to see this.
I am currently a eyeglass free agent. I was signed with another company. No, I'm very serious.
Really? Oh, nice.
Years. I am currently an eyeglass free agent. There's two things I want to touch on. One, I actually do not wear glasses. I have 20/20 vision.
Damn. He's making it look better than me, and he's got no eye problems. Thank you.
I got to get your address. I'm going to send you a pair. But what I will tell you is I actually have what's called alopecia. If you kind of paid attention to what's going on recently with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, I don't actually have eyebrows. So glasses, I don't have eyelashes. So the glasses actually mask. It takes attention away from that portion of it. And so I currently own over probably 200 pair of glasses easily. They're for fashion. You've seen some of them online, but this is kind of a case. This is one case that I have.
No way! Look at it.
Damn, that's clean.
That's sick.
I'll share that with you. Here we have these.
Yeah, those are some of my favorites.
You have these. I wore these on TV the other day. I have these right here. These kind of look like Men in Black glasses.
With the style, yeah. I just started my Ray-Ban collection. I just started like slowly. Yeah, I'm starting to get into it too. You've got me hooked.
I did wore this for my Spotify online.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I switch out glasses. I've given glasses away.
That's sick, man.
I gotta make sure I get your address so I can send you.
Definitely. Here, and let's just listen. I appreciate you coming up here. Always love it. Love talking with you.
Thank you for having me.
I've talked with. I'm gonna little segue in and then let Scoop just kind of plug everything that's going on with this man. He is one of the busiest men that I know. I will say it again. Shout out to Scoop. Prayers up for Scoop. Scoop has been a busy man. He's had some tough things going on in his life, but he's remained peaceful, loving, and just always present. I appreciate that about you. So again, prayers up to you. But yeah, please, I know you got to get out of here, but plug away, man, because there's a lot. You're everywhere. I've seen you in airports. I see you in spot. I see you everywhere, bro. Plug away because I love your energy, bro. I love talking with you. So I'm all about spreading the Scoopy knowledge.
I think that you made mention of just a lot going on. I lost my mom on February 21st, and
rest in peace. My condolences.
Thank you. I know she's in heaven and she's proud. And we spent the last week of her life together, and basically we talked about everything that she wants to see done, things she wants me to do. And she was my first manager. So back to my childhood days. So I definitely am staying busy, but taking the time to heal, which is important. And so Bally Sports is where you can find all my work, breaking news, writing, and my segment every week called Scoopy Intel. But in addition to that, you can find my Scoopy sources that I do through Spotify Green Room weekly. It'll be this Thursday, I believe, at 4:00. And then in addition to that, I do an Instagram live every week with a different guest through Bovada. I have one actually in a few minutes at 4:00 Eastern time. You can watch it on Bovada's Instagram page. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. And I actually just did an interview as well before I got on with you discussing alopecia. So, some humanitarian work and stuff in that regard as well. But yeah, man, you follow me on Twitter at Scoop B. Instagram at Scoop B. That's where you can get all updates and everything I have going on. Facebook, Scoop B. And subscribe to my Spotify Green Room every week as well. So a lot of good things coming for the NBA playoffs with me and Bally. I'll be looking out for that. And I'm tying some things into the music space in the next week or so. So be paying attention to all that I have going on. And more than anything else, thank you, gentlemen, for giving me the opportunity to be myself as always.
As always, hey, you're always welcome here, and definitely be there. Green Room. It's a different. It's like Spaces. It's great. It's been a good talk. Every time I pop in, we have good conversations. He covers all basketball. Yes. I don't know if this is a joke or not. I hope I don't get in trouble with this. Last question: would you rather have bacon, egg, and cheese or chopped cheese? Is that a negative question, or is that a joke, or is that legit?
No. That's a New York question.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your final question as we log out of here. Bacon, egg, and cheese or chopped cheese?
Before I answer this question, I don't eat cheese. I have not had ice cream since 2018, and I don't eat eggs. So I do like turkey bacon. I don't eat pork bacon. I have begun to really enjoy just egg. I know you're probably thinking I'm bougie. I'm just trying to be more health conscious. I do enjoy turkey bacon. I do enjoy just egg, but I do not eat cheese. So if I had to pick one, it would be definitely turkey bacon, egg, and cheese from the bodega. I split time between Harlem as well as northern New Jersey, whether it's the Oranges or Jersey City itself. I'm a Don Bosco prep grad, so I definitely appreciate a good turkey bacon, egg, and cheese with ketchup from the bodega on sesame seed bun or sesame, like poppy seed bread, rather. I enjoy that when I can. Yes.
All right, Scoop, we're going to get out of here. Everybody that came by, I think we had like 190 at one point. Appreciate you, Scoop. Appreciate you. We'll definitely do this again, whether it's in Spotify Green Room or on here.
You coming Thursday, right?
Yes, I will be there. Last week I got blown because of the game, man. The game I got sucked into Nets world. But this Thursday I will be there 100%. I hope you guys join them there as well. Scoop, I will be talking to you afterwards. To be able to rock a pair of Scoop glasses is going to be sick. I'm actually
I'll send you a pair.
I'm literally going to turn them into prescription glasses. That will be a thing. So appreciate you, Scoop.
Get some sleep, brother.
Look, I got some sleep, but the show must go on. You gotta put the show out. But I'm probably gonna go to sleep after this. But I gotta take care of some stuff. So,
brothers, that's good to see you soon. I gotta run. I'll talk to you.
All right, guys. Appreciate you, Scoop. Yes, that was fun. I love Scoop.
That was a wonderful stream. That was a wonderful stream. Good
questions. He had a lot of time. Yeah, I think we got to everything we wanted to talk about. I mean. Whew. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I like the Detroit game. I'm going to be back on as normal. I've just been covering for Brandon and Jay. They've been on vacation, been at games, so that's why I haven't been away. I got on Discord last night. I saw like all this Saint slander, and it was like, "Yo, Saint, like he don't like us no more. He's this. He's left us. He's leaving Nets Kingdom." Like I was like, "What?" Yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding me, bro?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm Nets Kingdom for life, bro." Like AJ knows the deal, and unfortunately, it's like I'm realizing maybe every time I talk to AJ and talk to him about what I'm doing, that maybe I should get on Discord and be like, "AJ said I could do this, guys." Like. No, listen. I've just been busy, man. Like I was sick with COVID. I've had my kids for a bunch. I've expanded. When I say this, like you guys know me, I like talking to everybody, and it's like Twitter has opened up a world. DJ Saint, you're a traitor.
Hell no.
Like
they on your head. They on your head.
Listen, the next show, AJ's gonna come in here and he's gonna straight defend me to know what I've done for Nets Kingdom and trying to get people to talk, trying to spread Nets Kingdom world. AJ knows what I'm doing, the work I'm putting in. So yeah, I sometimes I dip out of the stream for other reasons because people ask. We get good conversation. It sets up guests. I'm out there promoting Nets Kingdom. Like, so listen, I am not going anywhere. I'm going to be back. Yeah, I'm not a freelance streamer.
To defend you have damn near became the main representative to Nets Kingdom on Spaces.
Well,
So it's,
I'm just
yeah,
trying. That's what.
you've built that lane for yourself, and and shout out to DJ there too. He's built himself a little spaces with the other DJ known in that's Twitter. He's in those spaces too. He's built that too. But like
Look at
you
DJ
found your,
saying, "Yeah, he's stupid."
but not but yeah, nah, Saint, like you've
You kind of froze up there, but no. But listen, that's like when AJ told me to get on Twitter, bro.
I froze up there.
Yeah, you froze. That's all good. But AJ told me to get on Twitter. Like I wasn't even on Twitter. He was. Like I always never wanted to do the Twitter thing because I do see like what Isaac's saying, like the toxicity of it at times.
Oh,
But
yeah, I get
I
yeah.
joined Twitter with one objective, and that was to plug into the Nets world. And I saw that there was all these reporters. That's how I met Scoop. Like I just, and when I got in there and I started like hopping in my very first spaces, the first thing I said after like talking on a topic was like, "Yo, come check out Nets Kingdom YouTube." And it just started and and then I started just like emailing and sending DMs to like Nets reporters, like what's his name? God, who was the first guy? I'm so bad. I'm brain farting.
Alex Stern or
No, the young kid. Why am I brain
Billy
farting?
Reinhart.
Yeah, wait, look, Billy Reinhart came
Right,
on.
yeah,
and then we've
Billy
got
Reinhart,
Matt
Billy
Brooks to
Reinhart,
come
Billy
on.
Reinhart, yeah.
We've met like, and I just started communicating with people, and I enjoy it. Like see, listen, when I'm in those spaces, I don't do the toxicity thing. I like to have legit conversations, try to keep it respectful. There is a side of Twitter that is just OD, and I try to stay away from that. But no, I'm Nets Kingdom for life, bro. And like that's oh yeah, Keith McPherson, exactly. Like Keith.
Yeah,
Keith has been
had a
huge.
lot. Yeah.
Like he's WAFN now, and he's like shouting out us, like he's tweeting us.
Christian
like,
Winfield too. Yeah, we've had a lot.
Yeah,
of people
exactly.
up
Like
there.
there's so many cool things that like by joining Twitter and kind of getting involved in that world, like that's benefited Nets Kingdom and vice versa. And gotten our name out there and people that you wouldn't think. Like I've been in spaces with some people that are well-known people, and out of nowhere, like they'll say something, they'll say my name, and then be like, yeah, I know about, I rock with you guys. And it's like,
yeah,
that's cool to hear. Like that's great for the channel. It's great for this chat. It's great for, the whole point is to continually give content.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-Nets fans that hit me up as like, yo, I fuck with what you're doing. So it's like, yeah, it's like it's definitely like he left us hard and tricky.
I love it. No, but yeah. But I mean, listen, he's right. Roshi, I've gotten to talk to Jamal Crawford, Perkins, like Kendrick, even though Kendrick Perkins, that dude can be OD. Like it's just it is a cool thing because it connects you to people, and I'm enjoying it. It's helped the show. Sometimes, and I get asked to do things. I check in with my boss AJ because I still look at AJ as like my boss, right? Like, hey AJ, you cool with this? AJ, you cool with this? Right. And if AJ's cool with it, then I'm cool with it, right? If he's not, then it doesn't happen. But like, he knows what I'm doing. He.
Speaking of Jamal Crawford, has he ever been back on Spaces after Doug booted him out?
No, he came back on because he came back on. I can't remember what it was, and he just came in and basically said, "Yo, I rock with the Nets." Like that's where he's at. Like his loyalty, even though he was a Net for a hot minute, right? He's all about the Nets, the Kyrie, KD. Like he rocks with the Nets, and he was like that's the one thing cool about meeting somebody like Jamal. Dude is one of the most humblest dudes, and I am trying to get Jamal on here. He's a busy man. He just retired, but he's a good dude. He's a humble dude. He tells it like it is, and he knows ball. Like so, it's been fun. But you guys that are trying to slander my name in Discord, and shout out to BFB.
There was like little arguments. It's like, yo, Saints turning on Next Kingdom. How he's in spaces with all
did you guys back me up or did you guys pile on? I gotta know.
If anything,
most of the
users defended you. So it's just like, yo, he's chilling.
No, BFB is he is the Discord troll. Like he's went out and said that he just trolls. That's just what he is.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh
a
no,
full-
but I like listen. The new and improved BFB I enjoy because he's toned down a little bit, and I love. I've always liked BFB, but it's like BFB. It's always hard to like when you're trying to run like a Discord and you're trying to make everybody comfortable. It can be challenging, right? Because there's
Yeah.
people of all different walks of life, all different religions, all different races. They may have different sexually and orientate. Like who knows? And it's like you're trying to run a community for everybody to feel comfortable in. And at one point with our Discord, it got so toxic that a lot of day ones that are legit respect like fun people to talk to just stopped going on there because it got so bad. And then it's like, I kind of dipped a little bit from Discord because it was like I felt like I was having to
It's
be that
gotten, yeah.
felt like I had to be. It was like this overbearing like father figure where it was like, don't do this, don't do that, and I hate it. Like I want people to have fun, but I also want people to feel like they're coming into a space where
that
they
you
can
have
talk.
a
They can talk nets, and it's like we created every channel imaginable for you to be like a political nut, like a weirdo nut, a sus nut, like. If you want to just talk about girl, like we created every imaginable avenue for you to to display who you are, and people just still want to post it all in the main chat and then argue.
Yeah.
And then
Let's give context to how bad it got. One guy I banned made a whole nother Discord just to shit on our Discord. That's how bad it got. And here's the crazy
part. And then we got raided. We were getting hacked. I mean,
and here's the crazy part.
And then the stand fights, right? The stand fights have been the Kyrie Harden KD.
That was mainly James Harden, but I don't even think Kyrie or KD that was that. It was just really the Harden stands. But it was more so it got so bad. One of the main people that was in like the Discord to fuck our Discord up tried to message me and had like a screenshot of you. It was you, Brandon, Cash, and Jay, and it was like you were in a spaces that had a lot of racists in it, and the topic was like,
oh yeah, there was a string of spaces that went out where it was like a mostly all white group would post some ridiculous like comment about black people, and then there was like an all black group that would post something ridiculous about white people, and it was like a week of just like insanity of like
that was in such a
early stages of
space. It was in such an early stages of spaces too. It just started. There
was like 10,000 people in those rooms, and it was like hard not to click on all of them and be like, "What is wrong with people?" Like people lost their mind on Twitter that week. Everybody lost their mind.
That little stint in spaces definitely took a lot away from Clubhouse. I think that app. So it's definitely that was definitely a time. But he tried to. He took that screenshot of you and everybody. Was like, "Yo, this the people you rocking with? How you with the black man thing?" And I'm just like, and because mind you, you told me about this before.
Yeah.
So he thinks I'm new to this information and tried to make me come at you in a negative way, and it's like
I don't leave my dogs out there. I back you up.
And I put him in like, yo, you trying to insult my intelligence? Get the fuck out of my face, type shit.
No.
Like,
people came at me that way too, and it's like, listen, dude. Like at the end of the day, like you guys know who I am. I know who you are, and that's why we all rock with each other because we all respect and like love each other. Like we're pretty much friends for life, in my opinion. People that like to control things in those Discord scenarios and other things, it's like that's what they're going to do. At the end of the day, when somebody puts them in place a little bit of like, yo, like, hey, this is not the you show. This is for everybody. And unfortunately, when you have to tell people to chill, like, they're going to get all. But that's the new wave, though. And to your point of asking Scoop that, it's like this is the new world, bro. Like,
yeah, man.
People will say whatever they want on Discord, Twitter, and this and that, but like probably 100% of the time, there's a few people that would say it to your face, but very like 9 times out of 10, most of the stuff that some of these people in Discord on Twitter have been talking would never say that to your face with the animosity, the energy, the frustration. Like they would never talk to you like that in your face. Same thing when they talk about players. It's like, everything, man. It's like, yeah, exactly, Javon, like internet thugs, right? And most of these kids are like kids. They're kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. I mean, to end it, listen, I'm Nets Kingdom for life. I'm never changing my colors. I'm never walking away. You know, yes, has meeting AJ and you guys and the channel and then getting on Twitter kind of opened the doors another area to talk to other people and for it to provide content for the show, of course. Absolutely love it. I've been starving as a Nets fan for 20 years to have people that are Nets fans to talk to, and meeting you guys and then having Twitter has opened a world for me to talk Nets that is just like, I love it, man. Because I was like, you know, try being a Net fan in Lakerland and trying to talk to them about how great the Nets are, you know, and I've been dealing with that for 20 years. So I don't know. I'm here. Exactly. My holy king, stay humble. You know, I try to. I don't think, I mean, my co-hosts will let me know if I'm being an idiot. They'll let me know. So what up, y'all? So I don't know. Rage, Chubbs, you guys got anything before we get out of here? Kind of wanted to bring you a little extra. You're what? Oh, you drowned it. We lost you there a minute.
Yeah, I think I chopped up, but don't worry. Yeah.
What were you gonna show?
None. No, it's I know, man. Last words. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I think I got way better seats than I did the Hornets.
Oh, you're going again tomorrow?
Yeah, because I originally bought that kind of just like a fuck it. I haven't been to a game in a while, and now Kyrie's there, so that's cool. So yeah, hopefully we win. We gotta punch them in the mouth early. Like there's.
Oh yeah, no, there's zero excuses. Hey, Rage, when are you going to your game?
On Thursday at the Bucks game.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, you're leaving tonight.
That's the best game yet.
Nice.
Bro,
So wait, all right. So you two are gonna have to provide content. We got to get some photos. You got to give us something.
Javon, I show the jerseys again. All right, but hold on.
I'm getting.
But make sure you hit up Jay from BK, bro. Send him a DM. Like he will go meet him because he'll be there. But that's sick, man. You get to go to a Bucks game. That's gonna be a hell of a game, bro.
Dude, I want to get a Ben Simmons jersey. I just hope they have him.
Rage. Yeah, they have them.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you got new jerseys?
Yeah, so I was at the shop. I got my mom 2 jerseys. I got her the statement KD jersey, the gray one, and a white 11 Kyrie jersey. So I managed to pick this one up.
Nice. See, I had the gray version of that, but yeah, that's classic. And then of course he freezes right on that.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. That was like a perfect photo. You froze right on it. Yeah, that's sick. I had the gray one of that. I like the gray joints.
Had to get that one. And I got a KD mixtape.
Why does everybody? Do y'all? I mean,
because I didn't listen.
Those are fire. Those look beautiful. Those look beautiful to me. But everybody thinks they're cursed, bro.
But bro,
they are.
This is my favorite detail on it.
Oh, that is sick.
Logos,
all the logos.
You got
it's not that it's an ugly jersey, but they're cursed. They're cursed. They're wearing them on Thursday. If they lose on Thursday, it will be because of the jersey.
Hey, look,
Kyrie's fire though.
You got to see.
Maybe Kyrie will break the. See, I had it. But wait, to your point, Chubbs. I think Kyrie's going to break that curse because that really fits him.
So. I'm going to that game.
Being that Jersey kid, like I hope. Yeah,
right. No, I think he breaks it. But
I'm totally getting a white Ben jersey because I have a Basquiat Irving jersey. I have a black KD jersey, and I have the gray Harden jersey that is getting sold soon.
And I'm mad. I could have got a Devin Harris white Nets jersey, and I missed out on that. It was clean, but yeah.
All right, y'all. Hey, listen, we appreciate you coming out for Scoop today. Love doing these things. We're gonna try and do some little in between games things a little bit more. Get some more interviews. I've been kind of slacking on trying to get people on the thing, but Scoop hit me up, said, "Hey, I owe you an interview," and that's why I like Scoop. He's just another man out there doing his thing, like trying to give information when he can. Appreciate chat, Chubbs, Rage. Any last words before we get out of here? Tuesday's game?
No.
Chubbs. Thursday, Rage. We're gonna have our Nets Kingdom reporters at the game.
Yes, sir. The pictures I'll be getting are gonna be insane.
Yeah, that's sick, bro. I'm happy for you guys, man. I was actually planning on coming out this week, right? Like I was trying to plan it where I was going to meet you, meet Rage, but when I got hit with COVID, it totally destroyed my.
Yeah, that messed up a lot. So
Yeah.
it's all good. But
My kids just had spring break, and I was like thinking, screw it, let me just throw the kids on the airplane, and we'll get out there, and I'll take them. We'll go to Brooklyn for a few days, but it is what it is. There's always the playoffs, hopefully, and then next season.
Gotcha.
All right, y'all, Chubbs, Rage, chat, Nets Nation, Nets World, Nets Kingdom. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Yeah, we'll see you guys Tuesday. Better get that W, man. I don't even want to be on that. I don't even know, man. If we lose against Detroit, I don't even think. I bet you AJ won't stream.
Don't worry.
They're gonna put up a fight, but honestly, they're gonna put up a fight. But one good quarter fucks everything up, and we should just win out. So,
Pistons are so bad.
They are, bro. But listen,
So
that's the one
bad.
thing this season, man. We have struggled against teams we should beat, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Listen,
Now,
every win.
The Pistons
Every
now one of the players besides Cade Cunningham to watch out for is Marvin Bagley. Like he dropped 27 last game and then 25 the game before.
All I gotta say is there is no way we can let the Atlanta Hawks. We cannot fall into that last play-in spot.
There's no way.
That can't happen. Dude, they're only a game and a half behind, though, bro. They're only a game and a half.
To a reporter, the Nets have the easiest schedule remaining out of any other team in the league.
We need to win. We need to win. So it's very simple. Like there's no more excuses. Just win.
And I don't want to hear that none of these relax. I know Jay says this drives me nuts.
What?
Like especially right now. Like I'll agree with him at the beginning of the season when people were freaking out and we saw some problems.
What?
But I will say this right now, like. Dude, every regular season game, the end of season counts, right? Like everything counts. Like
any form of excuse we were making in January or December, that's out the window. It's March going into April. Time to win. Like it's time to start winning and building. So there's no excuses anymore. No, like there's no excuses. We should not let Corey Joseph go off for like 6 threes. Sadiq Bey should not have a career game. We should punch them in the mouth, kill them, and move on to the next.
Listen, they're going to be rested. If you can go out and do what you did to the Miami Heat, and I don't want to hear that. Oh, the Miami Heat have been struggling. They're trying. No, I don't give a shit. Right? Like you go out and you embarrass the Miami Heat. You went out and embarrassed the 76ers on their own court. Like you have literally embarrassed teams. That their fans just talk so much shit about our team. And the only reason we're in the spot we are is because of KD's injury, right? KD doesn't go down. We're not even talking like this. And who knows? We're in the top 5, whatever, right?
And let's put it in perspective. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
there's a reason the Raptors, the Hornets, the Hawks, exclude the Cavs because they were good all year before. But there's a reason those teams were in the play-in. We had injuries and we had a start I didn't want to be here, and therefore that just tanked our seeding. These motherfuckers were there for a reason. Like let's get wins. Whoever we face in the playoffs, we smoke them, and then just build there. So it is what it is. So we just gotta start winning, and it starts with a team like Detroit, who they're gonna play hard. So let's just build something there.
Exactly. I guess those are the last words, Brendan, as you just said. Robert Williams got hurt for Boston. That's going to suck. I think they'll still be okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be back.
I think he'll be out for several weeks, but I don't know. He's been a huge part of their run defensively. I will give him that. So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust for that. But there's been other aspects of their game that Boston is a team I think people are sleeping on. I will say that. I think the Bulls and the Heat have kind of exposed themselves a little bit. The Bucks, I think low-key are quiet there. You got to respect the Bucks. I don't care what people say. But I also think people need to respect Boston a little bit. Boston has been playing, I think, the best in the East since the All-Star break.
They've been playing the best switch. They're one of the best switching teams in the league.
Teams, yep.
One of the best switching teams in the league.
Got to respect Boston. So I don't know. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you all. We'll get back at it Tuesday. Chubbs Rage, appreciate you as always.
Sure.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.